Let's turn back to Decision 2024. Former President Trump and vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance are campaigning in battleground states as a way to counter the Democratic convention.
The Republican ticket held an event today in North Carolina. It's viewed as a critical state for the Trump campaign's path to victory in November. It is the former president's second time in that state in the last week. NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard is with the Trump campaign in Asheboro, North Carolina. Vaughn, this was billed as an event focused on national security today. What did the former president say about policies on national security?
Right, Kate. He said a lot, as he normally does. When we're talking about national security specifically, he referenced the fact that Russia took war into Ukraine during the Biden administration, and that Hamas had its biggest planned attack on Israel at any point in recent decades. And unlike during the Trump administration, this took place during the Biden administration. And he urged this crowd to hearken back to a time in which he was president of the United States and had control of the Oval Office, contending to this crowd that he would be able to pick up the phone and able to stave off military conflicts. And he also mentioned the fact that he had a relationship with North Korea's Kim Jong-un. And so this is for Donald Trump a political message where he is warning of a potential World War III type situation. Of course, a lot of Donald Trump's actual plans to counter or to get the United States out of potential conflicts is not been laid out clear. He says that he can end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours, but has not offered any detailed plan or proposal as how to do that. And of course, he has not commented either on the potential ceasefire deal being negotiated between the United States and Israel that is out to Hamas. And so for Donald Trump, a lot of this is trying to harken back to a time when he was in the White House compared to the last 4 years with Biden.
And Vaughn, today notably was the first outdoor event for the former president since that assassination attempt against him last month. That would give anyone pause. I understand there were increased security measures, bulletproof glass used by Secret Service. What did the rest of the security look like?
Right. A number of Secret Service agents was evident on top of these garages here that were nearby. Of course, there was the glass in front of him on the podium and behind him here at the podium here. Donald Trump never directly referenced the fact that the extra security protocols were in place to protect him. But yet we know that Donald Trump enjoys doing these outdoor events. And with 2.5 months until Election Day, you can anticipate that he will be having more of them. But as you said, this was the first now in more than a month since that attempted assassination on his life just over a month ago, guys.
Vaughn Hilliard, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.